The first snow of winter had not yet fallen, but the cold had already learned how to bite like a hungry animal. On that morning, as the city hurried past with its heads down and hands buried deep in pockets, an old beggar sat on the stone steps of a closed bank, clutching a torn shawl around his shoulders. His eyes were tired, his clothes worn thin by years of dust and rejection, yet there was something unsettlingly calm in his face, as if life had taken everything from him, except his dignity. Few noticed him, and those who did quickly looked away, unaware that the quiet honesty in this man's heart was about to touch lives in ways no wealth ever could. Before the story goes any further, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of a good heart to change the world, please like this video, share it with others, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach people who may need them the most. The beggar's name was Raghav, though almost no one knew it anymore. To the city, he was just another shadow on the pavement, another reminder of poverty people preferred not to see. But Raghav had not always lived on the streets. Long ago, he had been a simple laborer, strong, backed and hopeful, earning enough to feed his wife and young daughter. Life had been modest but honest, and honesty to him had always been sacred. Then sickness came, first to his wife, then to his child, draining his savings, his strength, and finally his home. When both were gone, buried under the same quiet earth, Raghav found himself unable to return to the life he once knew. Grief hollowed him out, and the city swallowed him whole. Years passed, each day blending into the next. Raghav begged not with loud cries or outstretched hands shoved into faces, but with silence. He sat where he was visible yet easily ignored, accepting whatever coins fell his way with a nod of gratitude. Hunger was his constant companion, and cold his nightly torment. There were times when desperation whispered to him to lie, to steal, to cheat just once so he could eat properly or sleep under a roof. But each time, he remembered his wife's voice telling him that an honest heart was the only thing no one could take from you. And so, even when his stomach burned and his bones ached, he chose truth over survival. One evening, as the sky turned a bruised purple, and the city lights flickered on, a young man in an expensive coat hurried past. In his rush, a thick wallet slipped from his pocket and landed near Raghav's bare feet. The beggar saw it instantly. He could tell by its weight that it held more money than he had seen in years. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. No one else had noticed. This wallet could mean warmth, food, maybe even a room for a few nights. Raghav's hands trembled as he picked it up, not from excitement, but from the weight of the decision pressing down on his soul. He looked at the wallet, then at the passing crowd, and felt the old ache in his chest where grief lived. He knew what most people expected of someone like him. He also knew what he expected of himself. Slowly, painfully, he stood up, his knees protesting, and began calling out to the crowd in a weak but clear voice, asking if anyone had lost a wallet. People brushed past him, suspicious, annoyed, unwilling to stop. Just as hope began to fade, the young man returned, panic written across his face. When Raghav held out the wallet untouched, the man stared at him in disbelief. The young man counted the money right there, his hands shaking, and found everything intact. He looked at Raghav as if seeing him for the first time, not as a beggar, but as a human being. He tried to press a large reward into Raghav's hands, far more than a few coins. Raghav accepted only a small amount, just enough for a meal, and gently refused the rest. His voice was calm as he said that honesty was not something to be sold. The young man walked away changed, glancing back again and again, as if trying to understand how a man with nothing could possess something so rare. Word of the incident spread slowly, carried by whispers and chance encounters. A shopkeeper nearby began offering Raghav leftover food at the end of the day. A tea vendor stopped charging him for a cup of warmth in the mornings. People still passed him, but some now met his eyes and nodded. For the first time in years, Raghav felt seen. Yet life did not suddenly become easy. Winter deepened, his health worsened, and there were nights when the cold felt stronger than hope. Still, his heart remained steady, refusing to harden. One afternoon, a woman from a local charity approached him. She had heard about the wallet and wanted to help. Raghav listened politely, but he did not beg for assistance. He simply told her his story when she asked, not to gain sympathy, but because truth was all he had left. Moved by his quiet strength, the charity arranged a small shelter bed for him and later offered him simple work, sweeping floors and sorting donations. The pay was modest, but it was honest, and to Raghav, that made it priceless. As weeks turned into months, Raghav's life slowly, almost shyly, began to change. He still wore simple clothes, still spoke softly, but there was a new steadiness in his steps. He saved every little bit he could, not for luxuries, but for independence. He never forgot the streets, often sharing his meals with those still sitting where he once sat. People began to greet him by name. The city that had once ignored him now held space for him, not because he demanded it, but because his honesty earned it. Just before the ending of this story, I have a special request for you. Please comment below and tell us what honesty means to you in today's world. Your words may inspire someone who is struggling right now. One evening, as Raghav closed the shelter door after his shift, he paused to watch the city lights. He thought of his wife and daughter, imagining their smiles, and felt a quiet peace settle over him. He had lost almost everything, yet somehow, by holding on to honesty when it was hardest, he had found a way back to himself. His story was not about miracles or sudden wealth, but about the power of a clean conscience in a world full of compromise. If this story touched your heart, if it made you pause and reflect, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps keep stories of hope alive. Sometimes, the richest hearts belong to those who have nothing left to lose except their truth, and it is their honesty that quietly changes the world.